Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, of course, this is a storage unit. We're living in the past, so we're living on past data, and not the data, but the interpretation of the data. Yeah, so yeah, I have it with, because I was arrested a lot. When I go through customs after a long trip, my body gets nervous, like Interpol's gonna come and arrest me. But I'm not that. But that's what happens. It's nice to have to be able to discern the difference between what you are and what the body is. Yeah, because the brain is part of the body, so the feeling of being you is produced by the body, the brain. Yes, the brain isn't like some foreign thing that landed in the body. It's the body. Yeah, it's like so. And so the brain is presenting a whole story about the body as you, really. Yeah? So you and then, so there's the nervous system, and then there's what you are, and then there's the mental idea of what you are, which is very much engaged with the nervous system, because, of body begets body, so to speak. So the brain, the selfing is produced in the brain, yeah? And it implies that you're a body. So the body has a nervous system. So in that situation, your nervous system would be a big player of how you are, based on that logic that you're the body. Yeah? So when the nervous system has acquired, let's say, impressions that are producing expressions, how that's held usually in selfing is that it has something to do with you. It has something to do with the body, but it doesn't have anything to do with you. And this isn't sort of a mental denial of it, it's a fact, actually. So it has effects, but is there anyone being affected other than the body and the brain? Yeah? So in other words, a lot of times the Toyota has a glitch in the computer, but then the driver starts thinking it has a glitch. Yeah? It doesn't mean if I'm not the Toyota, I don't fix it, because I'm driving in the Toyota. It doesn't say, oh, that's not me, so I don't have to take that insulin shot. That's insanity. But not realizing it's not you doesn't prohibit working or allowing it to work to get it to better itself or to find balance. That's what one of its programmings is, you see? But a lot of times people say, well, if I'm not the body, then who gives a fuck? Why do I have to go to AA or recovery? If I'm not who's drinking, then what's that? This is absurd, illogical, just weird shit that it makes up, yeah? The Toyota is driving, just like you don't think you're a Toyota, but if you drive it and it doesn't go well, you want to work on the car, so why? So that it can drive better, yeah? The difficulty with the body and the nervous system and the brain is there's an identification with it that it's implying all day. That's not, if it's not seen, you'll be looking from it, yeah? If you don't see it, you'll be looking from it. So your starting point will be prearranged as a body, yeah? And your reference point will be, or let's say the mitt that's going to catch everything that life throws will be caught by the mental selfing, yeah? The sense of being me will catch that. So let's say you hear the message, you're not a me, but it's going to be the quote-unquote me that hears it, yeah? The me is going to rise up and catch the message that there isn't a me. And it's going to, and then you see what it does. Go to meetings like this. Not like this, we're special and different. But other types of meetings like this, you'll see that a lot of the time what's getting promoted is a very subtle, weird, crazy idea of becoming a non-self as a self. You know what I mean? Or acquiring non-self qualities and then having them put into the exhibit of self to make it a better self. You know what I mean? I need a little non-self. I'm going to finally begrudgingly admit I've gone a little overboard. I need a little non-self to make the self sort of get better. So I attract other types of people, loving gazes and stuff like that. I mean, this is insanity. It's totally insane. So for me, if there is trauma and it's locked into the body, I'm clear that it's not me. Just like when they have presentations of the characteristics of all personalities called the Enneagram. You've heard that, the Sufi teaching aid, where they broke down everyone here, all the seeming individual humans, basically 9 basic personality or characteristic traits, 9, with 2 subdivisions. So you'll be a little like this and a little more like that, But there's 9, so you can say there's 27 types of characters, yeah? So people go to these talks and they name them 1 to 9, and it says 1 with a subdivision 4 or something. So 1 to 9. So you go and you listen about it, and when they describe some character traits, and you go, wow, that sounds like me. Hey, maybe you're presented as that 9. And then the authority will go, oh yeah, you're a 9. And then you go, oh, I'm a 9. But finding out you're a 9 isn't meant to be heralded with, I'm a 9. It's, I'm a 9, therefore I'm not. Yeah? I drive like a Ford. I smell like a Ford. I turn like a Ford. I brake like a Ford. And therefore I'm not a Ford. Yeah? Because there's a lot of Fords here. I wasn't the only 9 that got pointed out. There's 20 other 9s. And the only difference was that Ford was built in a factory in Colorado, 1963. This Ford was 72, but we drive like a Ford. And therefore, if him and I think the same, feel the same, and do the same thing presented with situations in life, they cannot be my thoughts, my feelings, and my actions. How could they be mine if you have them? Yeah? The whole idea of mine is they're singular. I'm terminally unique. The thoughts and how I feel and the things I've done have made me terminally unique. Well, I can't brook another terminally unique me in the same room. It's not going to work. But you get the information about what you're not, and it leads to the fact you're not that. Not, oh, thank you for pointing out what I am. No, I'm pointing out what you're not. Yeah? That you have been identified with, and you've been calling you, but because we can describe it, how can it be what's seeing if you can see it? How can it be what's hearing if you can hear it? How can you be that which you study? What is studying self? That's what that one Zen master has a long statement, but I like the beginning of it. It says, to study Buddhism is to study the self. Yeah, this feeling of being a long-lasting, independent, separate entity. The self, there isn't the thoughts. It's the feeling that how we listen to the thoughts produce. You get a sense of being the someone who's the thinker. You get a sense that you're the feeler. You get a sense that you're the doer of the actions. That's the sense of self, yeah? It's a sense. There's a feeling that somehow you're a long-lasting, independent, separate entity. Independent, separate entity. So the things that have been reassuring and reinforcing the idea that you're independent, separate, right, entity are the thoughts, the feelings, and the actions that you have believed you've done, like that no one else has done. And so when you hear a lot of people share their feelings, their thoughts, and their reactions to life, and they sound quite similar to yours, it should lead you possibly to the point, all right, how did they get my thoughts or they're not mine? You know what I mean? How did they get my feelings or they're not my feelings? How did they get my reactions to life? Then they must not be my reactions to life. Hallelujah. Now you've seen the activity of what you're not. Yeah? And instead of trying to be free as what you're not and get freedom for what you're not, you'll get freedom from what you're not. you'll see very clearly what you're not. Because you can never see what you are, because it's what's seen. It cannot be objectified. No matter how hard you try, you are never going to spin around quick enough to see what's looking. You're never going to. You know, you can act like I have no interest. Oh, you know, you're never going to catch it like asleep. How am I? Oh, this is all right. I'm seeing this. I'm going to. Oh, wait a minute. I move so fast. I can't believe it. I move faster than the body, actually. Yeah. The evidence is constantly being presented, and yet the leap isn't being made because the identification as a self is strong. Yeah? It will keep on claiming that the thoughts are yours, that the actions are yours, that the feelings are yours, that the time is yours, that the problems are yours, that that girlfriend is yours, that the money is yours. And if you want one example of the difference between money and your money, very simple. I wish everyone in this place to have tons of money, but I don't want you to have any of my money. Money hasn't changed, right? Both statements had money in it. Money. One was totally different, totally extending and expansive. I want you all to have tons of money. Next statement, you cannot have any of my money. You see? Contraction, expansion. One example, bump, 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 millions and millions of times. Money, don't change it at all. Just question the my, that feeling of the being the one who owns it or has it. That's where all the meaning money has in your life is coming from. All the meaning that anything has in my life isn't coming from the name of the thing, it's coming from what's naming it, yeah? I'm naming it mine. Therefore, you see it. How many problems have you had the last 5 years? How many problems? Maybe 800? 60? Which was the one problem that was in all the problems? You. Yes? What's allowing thoughts to drive ourselves crazy with? Not thoughts, my thoughts. Yeah? Why do feelings have such a long-lasting shelf life? When I was a kid, they came and went pretty quickly. Now a feeling comes, and it's a harbinger of a lifelong depression. What the fuck's going on? Because the feeling isn't being noted as a feeling, it's being interpreted as my feeling. Yeah? And what's interpreting it as my feeling uses the my to use that feeling to interpret there's someone who's having the feeling. Over and over and over again, you seem to be bonded to the idea of being a self. Don't you? All day. All day. It's all day. Thoughts are happening, feelings are occurring, actions are happening. Yes? That's what goes on. The mental interpretation, the selfing, uses everything it comes in contact with and takes advantage of it, which now it uses here, bottle, yes, my bottle. The bottle is being used to point to the one who has the bottle, yeah? Money, my money. Thoughts, my thoughts. Feelings, my feelings. Problems, my problems. Time, my time. You see? Everything it comes in contact with, it uses to point to infer, to imply, to assume, to reinforce the sense of being the someone who has it all. It's false. It's not correct. That's why the freedom, the solution, is prior to the problem. The problem is an activity. It's not so. It's not you who has a problem. It's the mental state having a problem produces a you out of it. Yeah? A mental state having time produces a you out of it. A mental state claiming thoughts produces a you out of it. A mental state claiming all the feelings produces a you out of it. A mental state having a body uses it to do what? To imply that you're the body. That's what it does all day. So it's a seeming bondage that actually never happens. It just seems to happen. which means it appears to be true or false to you. Based on what? Its power or your power? Your power. Not yours as the self, but what you are. That power is deciding, in a sense, not deciding, it's what's giving meaning to false evidence and allowing it to appear to be true. And it can withhold that power and just see false evidence as false evidence. Yeah? What would be the difference? The difference would be a huge amount of traveling lighter here. That would be the difference. So the freedom isn't an event, nor is the bondage. It's a possibility. The bondage is a possibility. The freedom's a possibility. Who's going to decide? There is really no decision, but what's going to attract one or the other is us. Us, not as a me, but as what we are, which is of mind. Big M mind, yeah? That which is seeing, which can't be seen. That which is hearing, that can't be heard of. That which is prior to thoughts, that can't be thought about. Yeah? It cannot be approached because it's unapproachable. It cannot be anywhere other than where you are because it's everywhere. Yeah? It cannot be subtracted from or added to because it's nothing, in a sense. What's there to do? Absolutely nothing. All the heavy lifting is about being a self. The relief of that bondage, of that preoccupation, your life is pretty chilled in most cases, yeah? You're here Saturday responding to what's happening. You're not here Saturday reacting to last Wednesday and next Monday. You're just not involved in it anymore. It's being presented. It is a possibility. It is a possibility. If you lean that way, there would be something to see. But you're not leaning that way anymore. Yeah? Isn't that true? If you look for a problem, you find one. You don't see that the looker has a lot to do with the finding of the problem? A lot of thoughts would go unnoticed if there wasn't the feeling of being the thinker of them. Seriously. You wouldn't be, you know what it's like sometimes? You're up at 4 in the morning and you really get the sense that, yes, 70,000 thoughts a day, and I've been watching every fucking one of them. I'm so burnt out and really nothing happened. I believe I've gone through 20 earth-shattering events tonight, and the earth hasn't shattered. I'm a mess, and there's nothing that was messy around me. What the hell's going on? Yeah? This is the power of mind. As it believes, so it is. If it believes it's the thinker, the thoughts that it has will own it. If it believes it's the feeler, the feelings that occur will own it. If it believes it's time, it has time, the time will have you. Yeah. There's a possibility, and we're that. Yeah. The AA says you'll be placed in a position of neutrality. You're not leaning one way or the other, and all the possibilities are flying by, but they can't land. You're not presenting a branch. The selfing is like a giant branch. Everything can land on. And you know when a bird lands on it, if you're sitting underneath it, shit's going to hit you sooner or later. Because it's going to, yeah. I like to capture that. Yeah. What happens if there is no branch? Possibilities stay in the potentiality. They don't find expression through you anymore. And then the spaciousness of that condition starts expressing through you. Yeah. Now you know the word serenity and understand peace. You have a new freedom and a new happiness, a new attitude and a new outlook, and none of it was of your own making. You've been revised, you've been reconfigured, the deck has been reshuffled, and it's playing the hands out much better than it used to. Yeah? You're not interested in what's not interesting, and you're interested in what's interesting. And to me, what's interesting is always and ever. That's fucking interesting. That's never going to promote boredom because it's a light that never blinks. It never loses its shine. It doesn't lose its luster. It's always available at all times, right where we're sitting. There's no secret handshake. There's no 12th belt. It's the basis of our life. Onness, isn't it? The worst day we were on, the best day we were on, weren't we? The days I were arrested, there was onness underlying it. The days I was not arrested, which were my best days, the awareness was underlying it. The baseline never changed. All the frantic dancing and the climbing and the hiding and the escaping was all really meant nothing to the baseline. The baseline was always there at all times with no requirement necessary to meet it. We're so prior to meeting it, we are it. Yeah. Why do we want to take the long way around to get back to right where we are? It just makes so much sense to me. I'm bowled over by the message. That's why I keep coming back. I like to hear it. It's good news because everything else is prolonging everything. No, don't fuck about okayness. You will be okay if you sign up for this class. I guarantee you, in our fortified special somewhere enclave with free vegan meals and tantric massages and silence and your own therapist and someone runs a bath for you, you'll be okay. We can't guarantee what will happen when you leave, but for that weekend, for $1,000, you'll be fine. Oh, fucking great. I will be okay. That lets me, I'll soldier through the next month or two. What happens if it gets canceled? Fucking, I'm not okay. The will being okay failed me once again, and I'm inherently not okay. So, well, do you want to keep prolonging all the day? Do you want to keep paying for it? You want to keep extending your hand to try to grab something when it's what's underneath, what's behind that you're looking for? So many cryptic statements in spiritual scriptures and books say, the seeker is the sought. What's looking is what you are looking for. It's an open secret, a gateless gate. You can use the mind to seek the mind. You can use the Buddha to seek the Buddha. You can use the light to seek the light. And you can do it for eons and nothing will happen. Why is that? It would if you were trying to get somewhere and you tried forever to get there and it was a place that you could get to, you would arrive, yeah? But all of that kind of logic doesn't apply to what you are. You can't go on a journey to find out what you are. You are that, yeah? You can't practice or use a process to arrive at where you already are. You can't get out of an imaginary problem. It's impossible. Part of the problem is getting out of it, which is a huge business now. How to get out of what we're not out and actually in. It's a perfect business plan because you'll never get relief, but they can keep promising you you will get relief. But there's a lot to purify. You've got to go through a lot of shit to get ready to receive what already is so. How can you prepare to something that's already arrived? Yeah. How can you busily prepare to receive what's already there? The freedom is prior to the bondage. Prior. Yeah? The solution to thoughts is prior to thoughts, not through thoughts. The solution to manage your feelings is prior to feelings, not in feelings. Yeah? What's going to change actions are not actions in a sense. For a period of time they will, but ultimately it'll be mind prior to the action. Yeah? Someone lost a balloon up there. I bet you that's the greatest it feels when it's finally released. No one can grab its string. Yes. It's burnt by the sun. Do you ever see that movie Sunshine? It's a great movie. I recommend it. It's a trippy movie. It's about the Earth is getting too cold, so they want to restart the sun, so they're going to put a nuclear device in the sun and restart it. So they sent this first expedition and they died. So this another boat comes, and you have these giant like solar panels reflecting the sun with the ship behind it. And so they're getting, and they get to the old ship, and they go on, and they see that most of the people who are dead are in this viewing room, all huddled together, where they had a little slot where they could see the sunlight. Yeah? And they all died just seeing the light, so to speak. The psychiatrist gets fucking into it. He goes, wait a minute. And he starts going to their viewing room, and it says, the computer says, you can open it up 8%, and then he kicks it up 12%. And he's getting sunburned and blisters, but he's like, the light, yeah? The light. It was just an unstoppable urge. The light. And then something happens to one of the panels, so the captain and this other guy go out to fix it, and they're moving, and the sun's coming, you know? And we got to get this fixed. And the captain realizes he's not going to make it. And so he's standing there, and the sun is getting, going to go above where, like rise. And the psychiatrist saying, tell me what it's like. And the guy's like, yeah. So you can get the sense of, light. I just love what it feels like. That's sort of what it's like. The light that we want to get a little glimpse of is coming out. Yeah. We are that which we're looking for. This is where it's closed. Not to go out looking to receive light. The closure is keeping us in, not keeping it out. The selfing isn't to keep out or to open up to bring in light. It's to block light. The selfing causes us to relate to the sunlight of the spirit as something foreign to us that needs to be found out or acquired or achieved or met or journeyed to, when it's actually us. What's being kept, it's not what's being kept out, it's what's being kept in by the selfing. Yeah? By the identification as the body becomes the supreme reference, and then everything that's heard or thought or felt is heard and thought or felt through that cipher, the reference of a body. We're getting an interpretation that doesn't fit what's actually happening. We are the light. Yeah? We are an immensity behind the aperture. We're taking what we're seeing outside the aperture to be real. Yeah? And we're hoping if we do something out here, it'll open this up. This is the selfing. But what's behind it? It's like here. The selfing is like a small camera, very bad lenses, like an old fucking tint, like a yellow tint on everything you see. And then a big, huge camera comes by and goes, oh, wait a minute. And it looks through the little camera. And by looking through the little camera, it forgets that it's the big camera. And now it assumes that it's the little camera. So now its whole vision of the whole event is so tiny, but it believes this is all there is. So it's got this self-centered tunnelness, while all the while it's this huge camera with these huge lenses that are being unaddressed. Why? Because it's become identified as the smaller camera. So it's trying to work the smaller one, clean this yellow tint off, instead of just realizing you're not that. Yeah. Just the simple entertaining that you may not be the thinker will bring relief from the thoughts. A simple entertaining that you are not the body, you'll be reconfigured. You'll be located somewhere else. Your starting point, it's not a location, your starting point will change. You may be exactly where you're trying to get to. So all the running around will be dismissed, and you'll be enjoying contentment instead of seeking contentment. You'll realize the highest form of maintenance of a spiritual condition is to be aware that you are a spiritual condition. That's the highest form of maintenance, because it doesn't look like maintenance at all. There's no work involved. just entertain. Yeah. And what you're entertaining is always available, so the entertaining just goes on and on and on and on and on. Totally erases the partitions of days and hours and months and years and locations. And all of that stuff gets all muddied and moves to the background. And then this huge emptiness of an event occurs, and you see what's passing it, yes? Yeah, but you also are aware of what's seeing. Yes, you're in the presence of what's seeing while all the seeing is going on, while all the hearing's going on, while all the thinking's going on, while all the acting is going on, while all the events are going on. There's a presence of what's seeing it all. Not that it was brought to you, you are it. Yeah. Because if something was brought to you, it could be taken away. That's not peace. That's not reliability. That's not assurance. That is not a place to abide in. What can be brought about can be unbrought about. But what is. Yeah? It's an inherent quality that's not in process. It's not in crescendoism. It's not in culmination. It's not in subtraction, addition, division, or multiplication. It just is. Yeah. That's that. Oh, I didn't record this, but we did. Maybe I should not even record anymore. We'll just do the videos, because I always mistake. I forget to press it's moving, but no, it's not recording. I think it's but it's not on. Unless this whole talk took 0.0000000 time. That could be it. No time passed. There is a quality, I'm serious. There is timelessness. It has a quality to it. Yeah. You are of that. You're in time, seemingly, but you're not of time. You're of timelessness. And it's not even timelessness. It's just using the opposite of time to infer what can't be inferred, let's say. That's all what non-duality is, basically. You're just using not two to infer, not a one, just to infer wherever your mind goes with it. But first, let's sort of question the two-ness of everything, and by realizing it's not two, you'll find out what it is, yeah? You'll be the living scripture. You'll be the place you rest in. You won't have that one bookmark at that one page you always loved. You can have them, but you'll be the bookmark on the page, yeah? You'll be the page that's always opened, and the bookmark of your attention will be there. You'll be the living scripture. You'll be the living Nisargadatta. You'll be the living whoever triggers your little resonance. You'll have that little bookmark right there, right here, and you turn to it all day. Yeah? You don't even have to go home to where your book is. The book is right where you are. Yeah. What more reliability is that? All right, that's it.